Hi everyone, it's me, Jumping Bean. I decided to do a little programming for myself. Now I hope I'm holding the camera okay and not showing my double chin or my wrinkles too much, but I'm getting old. You know me from, oh, hi. That was sunshine. You know me from Rochelle's video. From Rochelle's videos. They're out there making fun of me. I'm 70. I'm kind of small with big boobs. The damn thing has practically knocked me down. And I've had multiple fractures to my spine. So I used to be like 5'2". As the years have progressed, I'm barely 5 foot. And now with all the fractures in my back, they're compression fractures. So as they keep collapsing, I will probably, shut up out there. Honest to God. I will continue to get shorter. I've had rheumatoid almost my whole life. Multiple surgeries. Which if you saw Jenny versus the Jeep, I made a comment about trying to get in the Jeep and using my bad leg, my bad knee, my bad shoulder, my bad wrist, my bad hands. It was a struggle. So Shannon had to stick her arm up my practically and throw me into the Jeep. But we got laughing so hard she couldn't do it. Anyhow, see? She fixed my ponytail this morning. Hard for me to use my wrist and my shoulder in certain areas. And I don't think I'm holding the video very still, so this may not be a very good video. Anyhow, I would have celebrated my 50th anniversary this year. David and I got married when I was 18, and I was going to college at the time. I am a registered nurse in New York, but of course I don't practice anymore. We had 2 kids, my son Christopher, who lives in the Charlotte area, where is my legal address, and I'm up there with him several months. Stop looking at me. You're making me nervous. And the rest of the time I come to New York.
You want me to set that up so you don't have to hold it?
Okay, is it on my... I don't think it's up high enough. I think it's looking at my...
No, I can see everything from your shins to the top of the door.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do I look cute?
You do look cute.
Okay, so Shell just fixed the camera for me so I don't have to hold it, which is good because you've probably seen I've had trouble trying to do things with my hands. Anyhow, I used to work and mingle with the rheumatologists and family practitioners from all over the United States, and I help teach medical students how to do exams on rheumatoid patients so that they could feel the different nodules, examine what a fused wrist was like, what a total shoulder was like, what my restricted movements would be, and my weight limits. Anyhow, I did that for a few years. That was a lot of fun, and I traveled all the time by myself and met up with a group of some friends of mine that also had rheumatoid disease. So that was quite a bit of fun. Just enjoying a little bit of iced coffee, unflavored. So I'm here in New York with the girls because they make me laugh and they're a lot of fun to be around. Shell and I always have a good time when we're out in the Jeep. I do have trouble getting in and out of the Jeep, as you may have noticed. As I mentioned earlier, Jenny in the Jeep video. So they have to get me out a footstool every time to get in. I can get out on my own, I just can't climb up in it because it's a little too high. So anyhow, I'm trying not to have a monotone voice, but I tend to have a monotone voice. And I'm just kind of trying to think of a few things. Let's see. My kids are all grown up. For the most part, I did a pretty good job parenting. They might not totally agree with that, but I think I was a good mom. And Shannon had the limo and the whole 9 yards for her prom. And Christopher also had fun at his prom and his graduation. They both attended college. David and I had a fun life. We really did. We were comfortable. He was the #1 home inspector. And we had a very good business. We would have been married 50 years, but maybe I already said that. He got hurt at an inspection one day. The buyer was attempting to climb up the ladder while David was getting ready to come down, and he asked him to please get down off the ladder for liability purposes. And as he did, he knocked the ladder, and my husband fell and broke his back over a cast iron bathtub, head one way and feet on the other side. So he had to go through a few back surgeries and became quite disabled. And that was the end of our very prosperous home inspection business. Shannon had worked there for a while. Christopher had worked there. I worked there. We did all sorts of testing, and in New York you have basements, attics, and he was the type to be very, very thorough, would go up on every one of the roofs, or roofs, whichever you prefer. And when he started a job, he always finished it and did it to the best of his ability. We all learned a lot from David. He was a very, very hard worker, an honest worker, and had good integrity. I worked as a registered nurse. Most of my fun time was in the emergency room, but I also worked in the operating room. So on my next video, I think I'm going to tell you about some of the fun stuff from the ER, like my gentleman with a light bulb, my gentleman with a Bic pen, and my gentleman with a squash. And that's just to mention a few. ER work is very important, but it also kind of had its funny side, at least if you had my sense of humor. So those will be maybe in my next video. And then I might talk a little bit about working in the operating room, where you really learn how the human body works. Very, very interesting work. I loved working there as well. But my rheumatoid was getting worse and worse, and my hands were getting too crippled to really be able to do some of the things required. So then I went into rehabilitation and helped people through that. And with that, I traveled quite a bit of the New York State area, working for a company. And I did that for quite a while too, but I kept finding that I worked so hard during the week that by the time Friday night rolled around, I would probably go into a massive flare with my rheumatoid because I had burned myself out all week. So I required most of the weekend to recuperate. And it was getting to be a little bit too hard. The kids were needing to go to sports, things at school, and my body was just not going to hold up. So I stopped working in my early 50s. And by that time, David was ready to explore Florida with me. We moved down there because there's no stairs and everything's on one level, and it's kind of the waiting grounds, or what do they call it? The waiting room for seniors. We had a lovely home, and we had 3 little dogs by that time, our 3 Cotans from Madagascar originally, white fluffy little cuties, and David loved his dogs. And anyhow, so we lived down there, and then after a few years in one of the over 55 communities, we moved to another area that was not over 55. It was a very lively community, and we had a big swimming pool, big house, big fenced yard, so it was good for the dogs. Shannon eventually brought Brenna and her dog and cat, and moved down to Florida after a few years to kind of help me out with David. And so we all had quite an exciting life down there in Florida. That's where she met Shell at work, but that's their story to tell. So I go between Charlotte area and this upstate New York area with my 2 kids and grandkids. And now I'm running out of things to say. Now I got a lot to say, I just can't think of what I want to say. Today we're going to make bread and butter pickles. We're going to shred up zucchinis and freeze it for zucchini bread later on in the fall and winter. Shannon has a beautiful chalkboard, which I'll try to show you later, that we're going to try to hang in the living room. She did it all and it's gorgeous. But on it we're going to put our to-do list and our motivational ideas and things that she wants to do. She wants to get back to her essential oils, her soaps, her lip balms, her everything, and do all that type of stuff. Plus we got a lot of canning of tomatoes and stuff like that we need to do. So that will be our to-do list board. And the board's got to be about 5 feet big, so it will hold a lot of information. So this is my first little video, and I just kind of wanted to give you a little idea of who I was. I'm obviously Shannon's mother, and to say hi and to kind of let you know a little bit about me. And if you want to ask any questions on how I managed to do things with rheumatoid, please feel free. I was involved with helping to write a book, a manual, with one of the rheumatologists that I worked very closely with. I also worked with physical therapy patients and instructed them on how I did things, how I utilized specially made spoons, how I adapted my toothbrush and things like that so that it would fit in my hand, because I don't really have a good grasp. I can't straighten my fingers anymore. I can't make a good grip. If people give me change, like at the drive-through, it always falls out of my hand. And if somebody pisses me off, I give them the finger like that or like that, and they don't really know what I'm doing because, you know, it doesn't really look like I'm giving them the finger, but I am. But I can be very helpful in giving information on how I have managed my whole life with rheumatoid. One time I had to have my son, who was probably 8, drive the car. He sat on my lap, kind of between my legs, and I was the gas pedal, but he was doing the steering because I couldn't move my hands at all. And between the two of us, I had my arms on the steering wheel. Between the two of us, we managed to get me to the hospital so I could get some steroid injections so I could use my hands. It's been tough, but I'm kind of a little spitfire, and I don't baby myself. I always push myself, which is probably why I have all the fractures in my back. No, honestly, that's from all the prednisone for 40 some odd years. I took a choice, or I made a choice, I should say, when I was young, take the prednisone and try to live a semi-normal life and pay the consequences later, or not be able to care for my kids, care for my house, or take very good care of myself and suffer in a lot of pain and not use steroids. I made the decision to use them, but now that I'm old, my bones are not good. Things keep breaking. Back in November, back in November when I was up here, well, actually in Thanksgiving time I was in the hospital still, but then I came up and spent the winter with the girls, you might recall. I had broken my pelvis bones. How do you break pelvis bones? Well, we were trying to hang Christmas lights and I tipped over with the ladder, fell on the concrete. So they broke, and then, like I say, this last fall in May is when I appeared to have done my back in. But again, I'm recuperating, slow but sure. Takes me a little while longer to heal, but I'm healing and I'm up on my feet and I'm moving every day. This morning I went out with Shannon while she let the chickens out. They all came after me because I had food in my hand. So I had to throw some on the ground so they wouldn't attack me while I put the dish down someplace else. So they're fun, but I do enjoy watching them. And then we let the goats out. Well, she did all the work. I just kind of watched because I don't know how to deal with the goats yet. So anyhow, and they're crazy because they want the food. So like I say, I just watch, but I'm good company. So I guess that's my video for now. I'm going to end, and pretty soon I'll think of some fancy way to end, and this won't be so boring. But again, I just wanted to kind of introduce myself, let you know what I've dealt with most of my life, let you know about my 2 kids, that I live sometimes near Charlotte, sometimes in upstate New York. When I'm up here, I watch the birds. There are bird nests everywhere. Lots of flowers blooming everywhere. It's very fun, very gorgeous here on the farm. And the girls make me laugh, so that's why I like to be here. Plus they help me recuperate. I go home, I end up getting hurt again, so I head right back. Anyhow, that's it for now. I could do Rochelle's ending. Bye. Whoops, didn't shut off.